Hey wrestling fans, welcome to another episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic for September 15th, 2016, episode 163. And on today's episode is all about the finals of the Cruiserweight Classic from last night, which was available on the WWE Network. And it was a fantastic show, but the whole Cruiserweight Classic was great. And this Cruiserweight Classic, in my opinion, was some of the best wrestling I've seen in quite a while. And if you missed the finals last night, there's something wrong with you. Because there was nothing else on last night more important. No reason you should have missed the Cruiserweight Classic finals last night. There was nothing else on. Not as important anyway. And like I said, great wrestling. Some of the best wrestling in the world that you'll see. Forget the season premiere of South Park. Forget any other silly shows like that. You should have been watching the Cruiserweight Classic, but if you did miss it, of course you can go on demand on the WWE Network. Now, the smart people that did watch it last night know what happened, but first we see a video package focusing on the highlights from the tournament. And our opening contest is the first match of the semifinals. And it is Gran Metalik representing Mexico taking on Zack Sabre Jr. representing England. And Metalik starts out strong with a tope cajito. And then some other highlights, we see a springboard into an armbar from Zack Sabre Jr. And then Metalik hits the Metalik driver to get the win at 13 minutes 16 seconds. And then William Regal comes to the ring to give Metalik a medal. And then he's interviewed. He has a translator. Does not speak English, but has a translator there, which I thought was pretty good to have here, since he does not speak English. And then in the back we have an interview with Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, DIY. And next is the second match of the semifinals, Kota Ibushi taking on TJ Perkins, Ibushi for Japan and TJP for the Philippines. And some of the highlights in this match is we see a springboard missile drop kick, and then from Ibushi, and Ibushi also goes for the triangle moonsault, and then Perkins gets his legs up, and then Ibushi hits the moonsault, but only gets a 2 count. Ibushi hits the triangle moonsault and gets a 2. And then missile dropkick. And we see Ibushi go for the moonsault again, but TJP gets the knees up. And we see TJP get the wrecking ball dropkick. And Ibushi moves, gets out of the way of that, and then we see a powerbomb from Ibushi, but is only a 2 count. Ibushi misses a Phoenix Splash, and then TJP gets the knee bar, and then he grabs the neck of Ibushi, kind of makes it like an STF, and he reaches back on it. And Ibushi taps out at 14 minutes, 59 seconds. TJP wins this match. And then once again we see William Regal make his way to the ring to give a medal to TJ Perkins. And he is also interviewed in the ring. And then we see in the crowd Sasha Banks, Kalisto, Rich Swann, Jack Gallagher, and Bayley all watching the show tonight. And now we have a non-tournament match. And it is tag team action. Noam Dar and Cedric Alexander taking on DIY, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa. There is a lot of fast-paced action in this one. This was a very fast match, a lot of action, and Ciampa and Gargano get the win at 9 minutes 51 seconds. And now at this time, Mauro Ranallo and Daniel Bryan talk to William Regal about, and he gives credit to Triple H for coming up with the concept of the Cruiserweight Classic and how they decided what talent to have in the tournament. And then they talked to Corey Graves, and they mentioned how the Cruiserweight division will debut on Monday Night Raw this Monday night. And now it is time for the main event of the evening, the finals of the Cruiserweight Classic. TJ Perkins taking on Gran Metalik. And Triple H makes his way to the ring. And he says not only will the winner win the Cruiserweight Classic tournament and receive the trophy, but the winner will also be the new Cruiserweight champion on Monday Night Raw. And now it is time for the match. 60-minute time limit. This starts off with a lot of hard-hitting submission moves. And one spot, Perkins is on the apron and Metalik hits Hurricanrana Frankensteiner to the floor. And he then dives out to the floor onto TJP. Metalik hits a moonsault, but TJP gets his feet up and then into the knee bar. But Metalik is able to get the rope break to break the hold, and then he gets the knee bar, and again Metalik goes to the ropes, and then he's able to get a roll up, but is just for a 2 count. And then we see a close-up of the welts that are on TJ Perkins' chest. Man, it did not look good. And then at one spot, Metalik goes to hit his finisher, but his knee gives out on him. And then he isn't able to hit all of it, only a 2 count. Then TJP gets the knee bar in for a 3rd time in the match. And Metalik taps out at 17 minutes, 19 seconds. The winner of the match, the winner of the first ever Cruiserweight Classic, and the new WWE Cruiserweight Champion, TJ Perkins. And then Triple H and William Regal make their way to the ring. Triple H puts the championship around the waist of TJ Perkins, and Perkins gives a very emotional interview after this one. He talks about how he was homeless and how he used to carry around the key on a necklace of the place where he last lived before he was evicted. And very good interview. You could tell that it wasn't scripted. It was from the heart. And very good. And this whole show, especially the second semifinal match between Kota Ibushi and TJ Perkins. That was my pick for match of the night. But every match last night was either good or great. The tag team match, like I said, had a lot of fast-paced action, and the tournament matches were just fantastic. And Grand Metalik definitely impressed me last night. But I think the right guy won, TJ Perkins. And I know a lot of people were upset about Ibushi not making it to the finals. He was one of the favorites. So was Zack Sabre Jr. But I'm glad that TJ Perkins won. And the whole tournament was great. And got to see guys like Brian Kendrick, Tajiri, Tyson Dukes, everybody else that was in this tournament. Great wrestlers all over the world in this one. And I just hope that this Monday, when the Cruiserweights debut on Raw, that they let them just go out there and have matches like they've had on the Cruiserweight Classic. Just let them go out there, have great matches, middle of the ring. And I hope that's what will happen. But we'll just have to wait to see to this Monday night on Raw. And like I said, though, this was just great. And in my opinion, if you did not enjoy the wrestling that was on the Cruiserweight Classic, I don't see how you can call yourself a wrestling fan. And I don't know if there is going to be another one. I would like to see another one, especially if it's as good as this one was. Or maybe even change things up next time and do a women's tournament where the winner will get a shot at one of either the Raw Women's Championship or the SmackDown Women's Championship. I think that would be good to see. Or maybe even if they do the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament that they did last year, instead of doing it on NXT, they could have it as its own show like they did with the Cruiserweight Classic. And that was the finals of the Cruiserweight Classic tournament last night. That's all for this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hope to be back with more episodes soon. Remember, you can like 360 Wrestling Podcast on Facebook and follow the show on Twitter at 360 Wrestling Pod, Instagram 360 Wrestling Podcast, and email if you have any questions or comments about the podcast, or if you want to make a suggestion for a past show I should talk about on 360 TBT if I ever bring it back. I hope I will soon. But anyway, the email is lb360wrestlingfanatic@gmail.com, and you can also subscribe to 360 Wrestling Podcast on iTunes and Google Play, and you can find the 360 Wrestling Fanatic YouTube channel as well. But that's all the plugs, and that's all for this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. And until next time, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.